If somebody offered you the opportunity to live forever on a beautiful paradise earth where no one ever gets sick, no one ages, and no one dies, would you? Today we are going to be talking about the Jehovah's Witness belief in the afterlife and how I feel that the leaders of this organization are using this belief to keep their members emotionally hostage. Also, why I feel like this is a dangerous mentality to have. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. So before we get into this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more content just like this.
Can I get your name and where you're from, if you don't mind?
I'm Kai.
Kai, can I get spelling for you?
Straight out of Dogtown, K-A-I.
Hola Chula, thank you so much for clicking on to this video, and if you are new here, well then hi, hello, my name is Kai. So when I was coming up with the idea of this video, I basically asked myself 3 questions. First of all, what the Jehovah's Witnesses even believe in, what their teaching even is. 2, why I feel like the organization is using this belief to manipulate the members. And 3, why I feel like this is just a fundamentally dangerous way to live your life and has some very unfortunate consequences attached to it. There's no better place to start than the beginning. Anyway, the Jehovah's Witness belief in the afterlife is very different from the traditional belief of heaven and hell that is shared by most Judeo-Christian belief systems. The Jehovah's Witnesses believe that only a very specific group of people, 144,000 anointed worshipers of God, will actually have a heavenly hope, or a heavenly paradise is what they call it. And they believe that by and large, most people are in this other group of people that is formerly referred to as the other sheep. And these people are just your regular rank and file Jehovah's Witness. If you know someone who is a Jehovah's Witness, but most likely there will just be this, other sheep or this other class. And these folks believe that when they die, they go to a state of unconscious reality. You're no longer among the living, but you're not necessarily condemned either. And it's not like some state of purgatory. It's just a place of rest and unconsciousness. Eventually, everyone who is asleep in death will open their eyes, open their eyes, and be in a very beautiful paradise earth. The earth will be restored back to its original Edenic state, back in the day, when Adam and Eve were, still on the scene and everything. So they believe that the earth will be perfect, totally restored. And everyone who died, who did not have the opportunity to, witness Jehovah, everyone who never had a chance to do that, before they died, will be resurrected, and they'll have the option to choose. They can either choose to submit to this heavenly government, or they can choose what Satan chose initially, was to rebel and to do for their own, or to think for themselves. And those people who decide that they don't want to stay with eternal life on a paradise earth with, maybe possibly all their dead loved ones who passed away at some point, they will just go to this state of nothingness, this place of unconscious being. Basically, your consequence for not submitting to this very specific Christian denomination is just a state of nothingness. Someone who is in the truth, or is a Jehovah's Witness, will often say that they feel their religion is more ethical and therefore a more accurate interpretation of the Bible, because they don't subscribe to the idea of hell is a place of eternal damnation for those poor unfortunate souls. That's a flex to them. It's a flex to them. They don't believe in hell. And of course, if you are a righteous and faithful Jehovah's Witness, then they believe that they will live literally forever. For how undefinable a term that is. They believe that they will just go on and on and on this beautiful paradise earth. And they don't really have all the logistics figured out, but it's a nice idea, right? It sounds good on paper. You understand how meaningful and how real this place is when you're a Jehovah's Witness. Like you have dreams about it. You get together and you talk about it. Like, what will you do when it's finally here? Or like, what are you gonna be? Or like, what would you like to do? Like, what kind of animals would you like to have? Oh yeah, because the animals, I think animals do die, but they're no longer predators. Everyone is like vegan, vegetarian life. And I think, at least, like, I don't know, like I said, they don't have the logistics figured out, but this is the shit that we would talk about, okay? We would literally sit in each other's houses and make dinner and just sit around the living room and just talk about what we thought the paradise was going to be like, because it is such a vague, just, far off thing that they, basically dangle in front of your face. Like, this is the incentive. When you're asking yourself, like, why would somebody want to be a Jehovah's Witness? This is why. This is the buy-in. This is what they, the first conversation that they'll have with you at the door. Like, can you imagine if you ever lost anyone very close to you, whether it was family, like your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister, or if you ever lost a child or a grandparent or someone, just anyone, like a friend, just someone who was very close to you, that is such, it's a pain that you don't know unless you have had that experience. It robs you of a lot of your joy. It's just one of the most hollow and aching feelings that you can have. It puts you in a very vulnerable state and can even have you questioning your own mortality. So if you know that pain, imagine, go back to that feeling or that time in your life where whoever you lost. Can you imagine if someone came to you and it felt like they appeared, right? Like somebody almost sent them to you, right? Like they were divinely intervened to appear at your door at this specific time in your life. You tell them, you share with them, oh, I've just lost, whoever. I'm very sorry to hear that, but wouldn't you give anything for one more day, one more hour, one more minute, even to be with that person? And yeah, of course you would. Anyone would. Whatever it took, you would give it if it were possible, if it were real. I say, well, what if you could spend eternity with this person and you never have to know another day to have pain like this? This is a pain that people will be born and have never even known, have no concept of what it's like to lose someone in death. And all you have to do is read this book, read this Bible, and come to know the true God. It's really comforting, and it's a really beautiful thought. And I think that it fuels how hard these people have to work to stay in good standing with this very strict, regimented, organizational, just construct. I don't even know what the word is. That's what they get. If they do it and they do it well, then that's what they get. That's what they think. Even just to not grow old, or not to have to watch your children suffer, or not to have to worry about anything, just be on a perfect earth, to have no societal problems, to have no race problems, to have no language barrier, to see people that have died throughout the years come back to life, and know those people from history, and just everyone, to be a common unified world. It sounds of course, to have a beautiful world rid of all of the suffering and all of the problems and all of the, divide that we have would be anyone's dream. I think that you would have to be an absolutely evil, maniacal person not to find that concept beautiful. And they talk about it a lot. It obviously, of course, it's mentioned all the time, why are we doing this? Oh, because, we love Jehovah. We're obedient to him because this is what he will give to us. I feel like this organization actively uses this belief to manipulate the members into working harder, into putting more time into devoting more of themselves. I'll play some videos for you guys so you can sort of see what I'm talking about, but it's propaganda. It's basically what it is. It's all to, put ideas in people's head, or to keep them invested, to sort of visualize why they're doing this, to reinvigorate them, to get them all fired up and ready to go for the next, season or whatever. In the last couple of years, have been heavily filming like paradise videos and trying to incorporate more of that imagery and like into their own like music with like emotional music and stuff in the background and everything. And it's just really obscene. Like, it's just absolutely so obscene. I also think it's fair to point out that, they're filming these contrasts, in our time right now on this side of things. They're seen to be like low light, like heavy, just like fog, almost looking like pale, lifeless. The saturation has obviously been turned down. And then when they shoot from what's supposed to be the paradise, and of course all the colors come back, everyone has smiles on their faces, it's all bright and wonderful, lots of movement, lots of like aerial shots. It's literally meant to color the Jehovah's Witness experience in their day-to-day life, right? Like, this is just some drear and dull or place or whatever that has nothing to offer me. True existence begins in the paradise. I will live to my full potential in the paradise. Like, images of people that are deaf, not able to hear, communicating with sign language, obviously, and it flashes to them in the new system or in the paradise of them playing music and laughing and just visually showing signs of them being able to hear. That's emotionally manipulative. There's the scene where this woman is wearing glasses, that are obviously very thick and dark, meant to like protect her eyes, as if she was blind or had some sort of condition with her eye. And she starts freaking out a little bit, and she like takes her glasses off, and suddenly she can see her husband, and she's been blind for who the fuck ever knows, maybe her whole life, and this is the first time that she's ever seeing her husband. And they're like spinning around in a circle and so joyful, and that's emotionally manipulative. Like, it's propaganda. And I think that they know that that's why a lot of people do this. It's not so much that they love the governing body and will do whatever they say, but they know what the end goal for a lot of these folks is. And so they push it in your face, and it's like this proverbial carrot, right? Always hanging in front of you. Like, that's why you keep going. That's why you keep in the ministry work. That's why you ingrain yourself. And if there is doubt, then you take it out, because at the end of the day, there is no scorecard. There is no criteria for who and who is not a faithful witness. And they'll even tell you. They'll even like straight up like sort of try to put the idea in your mind, like, are you doing enough? Could you really see yourself there? Is your faith truly strong enough that you deserve to be in paradise earth? To live forever with Jehovah God and Jesus, his son, as the reigning power of this new heavenly government? Could you really see yourself there? Do you really deserve that? And it pushes their members to almost like sort of gaslight themselves or be gaslit by the organization into thinking that the work that they're doing simply isn't enough. Really, I mean, these people are devoting like at bare minimum 40 hours in their ministry services. However, like by any means possible, however you have to get that done, you have to get that done to maintain membership in this organization. On top of that, there are people who, do even more, do 70 hours, 80 hours, or they even do even more, and they like will travel for the organization to go build new congregations, to go build buildings for the leaders of this church, or they'll do even more and go and literally move their whole life to one of their hubs, one of their Bethels, and literally live and work and only do for this organization. So the investment is there for a lot of people, but they're constantly being pushed to do more and more because there is no ceiling. There is nothing that says it's enough. And it gives the leaders, who obviously want these people to stay in, almost like a hot button, like this thing that they can push on anytime that they want. when they feel like they need more productivity, or when their numbers are down, or possibly even when their pockets are running a little, thin. They have their members in this emotional vice grip constantly. And even if you start to think that you want to leave, it's like, well, what else is there? Where else am I going to be able to live forever and never get sick and never die, and I'll be with my family forever? Where else could I go? That's really the way that they want you to feel. So you have to confront your doubt, and you have to constantly reinstill this belief into your heart and manifest it in your every fucking day life, or you might not make it. And that's a real fear. It was like, well, what if my family goes on to live forever without me and they forget that I exist? That's a real thing that I had to confront in myself. But once I realized that it's a lie, that it's not coming, then you start to redefine paradise. This is an incredibly dangerous belief to have, just fundamentally dangerous to think that someday, whatever happens in this world doesn't really matter, because someday the reset button is going to hit. Everything that was over there is not over here, and it's just all 100% like a second chance, basically. I know that there are Jehovah's Witnesses that are putting very important things off today because they think that it's all just going to work out for them tomorrow. If it's very important medical care that they need, and they just decide that they'll go without it and let Jehovah figure it out, leave it in Jehovah's hands. That's bad. That's them literally putting themselves in a place where they're accepting having a low quality of life because they think that someday, if they're good enough, if they're faithful enough, they'll, they won't have to worry about ever getting sick ever again. I've known people who didn't go to college because they wanted to devote more time in serving this organization just so that they could make sure that they could get this paradise, earth, everlasting life thing. These are real life choices that are being based on this absolutely fake and actually unscripturally founded belief. There's almost no mention that this is even canonically correct in the Bible that we have, with the books and with the information that we have to this day. There's one scripture that talks about an earthly paradise, and the rest of the instances that it's mentioned, that the word is even mentioned, it's meant to mean a heavenly, otherworldly paradise. It's dangerous because tomorrow doesn't exist. Tomorrow is an idea, but have you ever been to tomorrow? No, you've only been to today. Every day that you have is a today. You'll never have tomorrow. Is it bleak to have to face the reality that yes, you have a human body that will get old, and you'll have to watch your body decay, and someday you'll die, and no one that loved you or that was loved by you will ever see or hear from you again? That a really difficult thing to swallow for a lot of people? Yes, and that's why they subscribe to belief systems that promise them that there's an alternative situation where, that doesn't really come out so bad for you. A lot of people would want to live forever if they could. But I think that's kind of the beautiful part about life, is that it doesn't go on and on forever. And it is rife with tribulation. But the bad times in our existence make the good times, the times of joy and the times of celebration, so much more meaningful and so much more impactful. There is no future. You only have the time that you are presented with. Every single second that you experience is a gift, is a present. That's why they call it the present. It's not why they call it the present. I think that's in Kung Fu Panda. Can you say that? I don't think that you have to live forever to have a meaningful existence. I think the thing that makes life even worth living is the fact that you only get one, that you only have one chance, So you better do whatever it is that you want. You better love everyone as hard as you possibly can. And just never take anything for granted. There's just such a 1 in a million, upon millions of chance that you would even be brought into this world. And that has to count for something, right? Like that's you, bitch. That was you. And that has to mean something for even just that fact alone. That was just my thought, just my opinion, and just my video. So if you like this video, then you can leave it a like. And if you like me, then you can subscribe to this channel where I will be posting more videos talking about whatever I want, whenever I want, because this is my channel and that's what we do here. So subscribe. You know what I realized I haven't done it in quite some time, and I know it's like a total fan fave. This is for the culture. I'll do a complimentary pen spin. Here you go. Look at it. Yeah. Look at it. Look at it. There you go. There you go. Oh, there you go. That's all you get. And as always, Chulas, I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing rest of your day. Bye, Chulas.